Greetings, everyone. My name is Austin Knight, and I have the privilege of serving as a religious affairs specialist at the United States Army Airborne School here in Fort Benning, Georgia. Right now, I'm strapped into a T-11 parachute, getting ready to jump out of this aircraft behind me. Before I became a paratrooper, I had to really start focusing in and narrowing in on the idea of trusting other people before I strapped this harness on my back. Think about it. There's so much work and so many people involved in getting a paratrooper ready for this moment, and a lot of it takes place in an area that we can't even see. So today I want to take the opportunity to talk about this idea of trust. Paratrooper or not, we are all in a position to better ourselves when we are able to really trust other people and place just a little bit more trust in those people that surround us. To help me explain this idea, I want to use a story from the Christian faith. In the Bible, specifically the book of Mark, we see a story that takes place in the middle of a storm. And this story is a group of men who are on the Sea of Galilee. And they're in a tiny fishing boat, and like I said, a giant storm is brewing just around them. Now these men, they have a couple of issues. Number one, the storm is way too big for their boat to handle. And two, and more importantly for this story, is their leader and what he's really not doing in this moment, or what it seems that he's not doing. Their leader is Jesus, and he's leading this group of men, but he is asleep at the front of the boat in the middle of this storm. So imagine a bunch of guys in a tiny boat, and their leader, who is probably the reason behind the fact that they're in this boat to begin with, is asleep at the front of the boat. So these men are naturally starting to freak out, and they decide that their best course of action is to wake Jesus up. When Jesus wakes up, it says in Scripture that he immediately rebukes the wind and the seas, and it all became calm again. Now, the fact that he was able to do that with just a few words is simply incredible. But what I want us to look at is that their leader was always in control. He took care of his men when they needed him the most. But look, they trusted him to not only complete their mission at hand, but also they trusted him in the middle of their storm. Now, these men that are in this boat, they have a lot in common with us. First, they have a team. I encourage you to wake up and look around, and you'll see that your team is around you from the PT formation until you go home. But in those ranks, you also have a leader, and you also have a mission. But deeper than that, we all have an occasional storm that pops up in our lives. So let me encourage you with this. Trust your team and trust your leaders. But I'm not just talking about trusting your leaders with the mission at hand, because honestly, we're good at that. We are the United States Army, and we complete missions. We all raised our right hand and swore that we would defend the Constitution and accomplish the mission at hand. So I'm trusting you to go on a deeper and more personal level with your leaders. Start to share with them when life is good, but not only that, share with them when you are facing a storm. And more importantly, when you don't know your own way out of that storm. You might think, and it might seem at times, that they are asleep in the front of the boat, in the middle of your own storm, but they're your leader. They were placed there for a reason, and they care about you, and they care about your family. Sometimes it's just on us to reach out and wake them up and let them in on our storm. Personally, I know this is the hardest part. To be vulnerable and allow somebody else in, it's a pretty daunting task, but it's the most important. And I think if we focus on this, we can truly better ourselves, our family, and our army. We are all in this together, and we're better together. In order for me to jump out of this aircraft behind me, I had to place my trust not only in my team, but also in my leaders to get me here in this moment. And when we all do this, we will find ourselves in a better place in life, and possibly reaching new heights.